My name is Adriana. I grew up in a Christian home and I went to church since I was in diapers. Especially my dad, he's a very devout believer and he made sure that I was in church every Sunday. But though I grew up in that environment, I struggled to believe with all of my heart. You see, I had so many questions about the Bible that no one could answer. And I saw contradictions. But when I asked Sunday school teachers or even pastors about it, I was told that they don't know, or even that I'm being disobedient and that I should just believe. And this made me struggle even more in my faith. When I went to university, I joined a Bible study that taught Pastor Jung's sermons. I was so moved by the way that he taught. It was so simple and he made so much sense, but it made me come to realize so much deeper about the Bible. Now, when I asked questions, I wasn't frowned upon, but I received answers to my questions. Now, I was encouraged to study the Bible and to learn properly. Now, through the years, we've seen so many debates about how science and religion, how they contradict each other. And so many times I've met people who used to diligently believe, but then who stopped believing the Bible because it's just a fairy tale. Now, I'm a medical doctor by profession, so science, it's part of my daily life. When I treat and when I diagnose patients, I base it on tested research. So now how can I live my life of faith disregarding the science that I use every single day? When I started attending services led by Pastor Jung's sermons, I came to realize that God, He's truly a God of science. There are no contradictions in the Bible. There are no contradictions between the Bible and science if you come to learn properly about the Bible. Now, I'm so thankful for having met Pastor Jung. Now, I've now been in one of his churches for 9 years, and every day I'm growing more and more in my faith. Now, I've come to realize deeply about Jesus' love, about God's love for mankind. In the Bible, Jesus, He taught that we should love our neighbors as ourselves. And Pastor Jung, he has dedicated his life to teaching the thousands of people who attend his churches about what it means to truly live a life of love. Now, a life that honors and serves the Trinity with all of our hearts. And to also treat all the earthly people in this earthly world, whom God loves so much, with respect and with love, knowing their value in God's eyes. Now, Apostle Paul, he taught that we as believers, that we should live in such a way that Gentiles, that they can find no fault in us to accuse God with. Now, through Pastor Jung's sermons, I have deeply realized that I must live my life in a way that glorifies God in everything that I do. I must be an ambassador for Christ. And my greatest motivation is that I can see that Pastor Jung, he's already living that kind of a life. And so I know that it is possible if I give it all of my heart. And Pastor Jung, he's experienced a lot of persecution for the way that he preaches the word. Now, it's not based on church denominations or in church traditions, but rather it's based 100% on what's written in the Bible. Now, people so often they struggle to let go of their old habits and their old way of thinking, but to slander someone just because they choose to believe in a way that challenges tradition, I find that really upsetting. Now, even Apostle Paul, a man who loved Jesus so much, he had to endure persecution and even imprisonment because the religious leaders of that time, they did not like what he taught. At that time, Apostle Paul, he wrote to the churches, encouraging them not to be ashamed of his chains, but to know that he is in chains for the gospel. And even Joseph, a righteous man of God, he was wrongly accused of sexual misconduct with just a testimony. And Pastor Jung, he always says, judge a tree by its fruit. A good tree, it brings up the good stored in its heart. Now, just looking at Pastor Jung's life, that's enough testimony of the good that is in his heart.